What is up, guys? Falcon back again, and today we are working on a 2007 Dodge Ram. Again, it came back, and what we're doing right now is going to be replacing the water pump. So stay tuned so I can show you the steps of what you need to do to replace this water pump. Okay, for starters, here we have our brand new water pump right there. That is the part number if you guys ever need one. If you're gonna do this job, might as well replace your thermostat, since you're gonna be, it goes right there, and you're gonna remove the old one anyways. You know, don't bother putting the old one in there unless you just replaced it, like, you know, a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, but you don't want it to start leaking or that be another issue later down the road. So you're already there, might as well replace. All right, so here we go. First off, to start off, I removed the airbox, and all I did was remove the clamp that goes right there on the airbox. Once I took out the hose from the airbox to the intake, the whole airbox just pulls straight up. There it goes right there. And now we need to remove this right here, and the fan shroud and the fan assembly also, so we can get access to the belt, so we can remove the belt, and then after that remove the water pump. So here we have two 10mm bolts, one right here and one over there on the other side. There it goes right there. And then on the bottom we have two connectors. You have one right there and one right there, and you also have this hose that goes up here. Well, it doesn't, I put it up here, but this hose runs down this way, and you can see it right there to this one right here. That is for the windshield wipers. So I removed it and just kind of clamped it over here so it doesn't drip. And now that I have those two connectors off and that hose off, I'm just gonna take off those two bolts and then remove this and put it off to the side. And then next, I'm gonna do a fan shroud. We have two 10mm bolts. We have one right there and one on the other side of the fan shroud. Okay, here I'm removing the fan blade. I'm using this special tool here that I showed you guys on the other video, and I put those two little clamps right there in those little holes right there on the actual water pump, so you'll stop it from turning. And then you use this, I think it's like a 36mm. Yeah, you use that 36mm big old ratchet wrench right there to actually turn that big old nut right there on the bottom. And let me show you guys right there. Of course, using one hand to hold the other one down, and then this when you turn it, and you use one hand to hold that special tool down. And then with this one you can turn it, and then you turn this counterclockwise just like any other bolt, and you should be able to remove this fan blade right there, so we can remove the fan shroud after that. Alright, here we go. Fan shroud is out. All it takes, it has a bolt right here right under the hose, and then it has another one on this side, goes right here. I think the original bolts were like 13s or 12s on either side. This time around they were 10 and 9, because when I tried to put the last time I did, I think it was the radiator, the holes for the radiator were actually a lot smaller than the 13mm bolts, so I couldn't fit them in there. So this time I used a 10 and an 8mm. But after you do that, just pull straight out. It's just held in with those clips right there. There's another one on that side. It's just held in with those clips right there on the side of the radiator, so just pull straight up. Okay, so with that out of the way, next thing we're gonna do is remove the belt. We're gonna remove the belt from that tensioner right there, and to remove that we're gonna put a 3/8 size ratchet right there in that hole, and then we're gonna press this up. Once it goes up like that, we can remove the actual belt. Take a picture of how this belt's gonna run. It goes around the crankshaft, then it curls around the water pump, it goes down to the power steering pump, comes up to the AC, to the idler pulley, to the alternator, tensioner, another idler pulley, and then back to the crankshaft. So make sure you guys take a picture of how this thing goes right there. That way you guys put it back the way it goes. But now I need to use two hands so I can remove that right there. Okay, so here we go. This is the water pump right here, that pulley right there. But the water pump runs from all the way from this hose right here. That's where the thermostat is at. It goes through the bottom. It goes right under the idler pulley and the tensioner pulley, and it goes down all the way to this side where those two hoses connect right there. So we got to remove this bracket right here with those four nuts right there. We need to remove that bracket. We need to remove this hose on this side and let the the water drip. We already have a drip pan down there. And also we need to remove these 2 hoses on this side and remove this idler pulley here and the tensioner pulley right there to give us more access. So let me remove all of that, try to get this place cleaned up, then I'll show you how it looks without that bracket, that hose, and those pulleys right there on that side. Alright guys, so here is the new water pump, and you guys can see all the holes all around this water pump right here. So we're gonna have to remove all those bolts that go all around there on the old water pump, which is right here. I already removed the whole 3 hoses on this side. I'm gonna remove that idler pulley right there, which is really not on our way, but just so I can see a little bit better all the bolts that I need to remove. And then we're gonna have some more bolts over here all around this side right here under the water pump. But that is it. This is the water pump. I need to remove it, all those bolts that go around this new water pump, remove them. After I do that, I need to clean out the whole surface where the water pump is gonna sit. It should be a rubber gasket down there, but either way we're gonna have to clean it up, because as I can see so far we have a lot of red stuff inside the system. So it looks like nobody has ever messed with this, so we need to make sure that we get everything cleaned out before I replace the new one. Alright, here it is. Water pump is out. The only issue that I ran into is this one bolt right here, right under the water pump. It has 3 bolts right here in the bottom. This one right here I couldn't get out because it was hitting the power steering pulley down there. So I left it in there, so whenever I put the new one back in, I need to make sure that that bolt is in there as it's going in. So now I just gotta clean that up and do everything in reverse order, put the new water pump with a new gasket in there, and make sure everything's nice and tight. A quick tip, what I do is, like for example this right here, these are all the bolts that go on the water pump, starting from the one on the top and then working my way to the right and then to the left. That way I can make sure every single bolt goes back where it used to go, because as you can see, some of them are different sizes. The only one this is like a 15 I think on the top, all the rest are 13. But as far as lengthwise, most of them are different sizes. All these 3 are the same, the 2 on the bottom are the same, those 2 are the same. You guys can tell right there, but this is what I do, that way I can make sure that I don't mess up on my bolts. So that might help you guys out right there. Where the thermostat is gonna go right there on the side, as you guys can see right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna start putting everything back together in the reverse order that we took them off. Should be pretty self-explanatory. You know, the way we took it off, we're gonna put everything back the same way. Whenever we're refilling it back with coolant, we gotta make sure that we burp the system, or we take air out of the system, because if not, it will overheat. So I don't see a breather. I don't see a breather or a little purge thing for the air on this system. So what we're gonna have to do is fill up the radiator with coolant, leave the cap off, turn on the vehicle, you know, once the coolant is all the way to the top, turn on the vehicle, put the heater at full blast in there. That way the thermostat can open up and send coolant inside the cabin. That way we can make sure that there is no air pockets over there. After you stop seeing bubbles coming out of the cap right here on the radiator cap, then we can go ahead and put the radiator cap back on. Of course, as the bubbles come out, you're gonna see the level go down, so we need to keep refilling it. After it does this, I usually let it sit there and let it cool back off for a while, and then come back and then add some more coolant. Once it's completely cold, then I can take off this radiator cap again. I go back and double check it again to make sure that I can add some more coolant in there, because the last thing you want to do is blow up an engine because you overheated it because you have air in the system. And it will happen. You will get air in the system, and even though it seems like it has coolant in there, if you have air bubbles in the system, it will overheat. Sometimes the water temperature sensor or the coolant temperature sensor won't read properly if it doesn't have enough coolant either. So that's, you know, or if it catches like an air bubble, it won't read properly. It'll tell you over there that you're good on temperature, but over here it's overheating. So that's just a quick tip whenever you guys are filling everything back up. Alright guys, well I really hope this video helps somebody out. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell for me. I will catch you guys on my next video. Thank you for watching, and you guys have yourselves a great day.